Hi everyone, welcome to your weekly edition of Show Me How It's Done. My name is Lauren Urbonis and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. Now today for my Panoramic panel card, I have to give thanks to another demonstrator because I found the measurements for this kind of card on her blog from a couple years ago. So her channel, if you ever want to check it out, is called Stamp with Lorraine. And I was delighted by some of the annual catalog papers that she used with this technique. So I hope you'll indulge me. But today we're going to do a lot of chopping and make a really adorable panoramic panel card. Now, as with all of my videos, if you do not have the product that I'm using, do not stress. You can either order it. My website is listed at the bottom there, laurenurbonus.stampinup.net, or you can use something that you have on hand. In fact, the card that I'm showing you today is using some of our online exclusives, the Cute as a Bee and the Meant to Be bundle. But you could also easily replicate this card using the Painted Lavender Suite, for example, in a very similar manner. All I've done is I've changed my sentiment and my focal image. Instead of using the little flower and the long sentiment, I've got something shorter and a butterfly. So don't stress. If you don't have what I'm using, grab your own scraps because I know we've all got them kicking around, and join me for today's project. So I have put all of the measurements for the card in the description. So if at any point you kind of are getting lost, just hit pause, go back and grab them. But this card is tricky in the fact that we're gonna have to do a lot of cutting of the pieces together for them to make sense. But I'm gonna put one of these to the side so that we have a little bit of workspace and walk you through how we're going to get set up for this project. So the first thing you're going to need is a card base. So whatever color you choose is completely up to you. I grabbed Old Olive because I thought it went really well with my color scheme. And we're going to go 5.5 by 8.5 and put a little score mark down the middle at 4 1/4. I should have, oh, there it is. There's my piece. Here we go. There's my base. Now I'm going to worry about the inside of my card first today because the front is going to take a few minutes. So we're going to do the inside. Before I attach this white piece though, I would like to do some stamping. There is an adorable stamp set called Meant to Be that was released kind of as part of our scrapbooking endeavors. It comes with a great set of dies that are very large and can be used on some of those 12 by 12 pages. Of course, we can easily use these in card making as well. And in fact, a few weeks ago, I did use them for one of the Show Me How It's Done videos. So please make sure to like and subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate whenever you guys click the like button on a video or make a comment. It just helps me to know that you're watching, and I really appreciate your engagement and support. So a few weeks ago, I couldn't tell you the date, but I did make a card. She is still hanging out here using those dies. So there you go. There's a little peek. You can go watch the full tutorial. Anyways, this is a great stamp set. You may have a similar looking stamp set from the annual catalog last year. We had an adorable bee set, which came with a coordinating punch. If you own that, you can easily just use that little bumblebee to create the center of this card too. Okay, so here we go. I've got myself a piece of basic white. I'm going to move that out of the way. This white is going to be 4 inches by 5 1/4, and I'm going to stamp my cute little bee on it. So you can stamp either way, your yellow first, your black first. It's completely up to you. My camera doesn't like something here. Maybe you're too tall. It focuses on whatever the tallest thing is. So let me move some things. Flatten you. There you go. That was too tall. All right, here we go. We're going to do my little bee. I'm going to start with my Daffodil Delight yellow ink. And I've got my great little oval bee body ready to go. So he's gonna go right down in the bottom right. Hold for a couple seconds. The reason I always like to do my stamping off the card, oh, I need to re-ink you, is because if I get an image that I don't love, I can easily just flip this over, or if worse comes to worse, I can always recut a piece instead of trying to take it off of the card. Okay, so try and do your stamping first, and then you can add it to your projects. There we go, that's much better. Next, I'm going to add some little stripes. So I have my Tuxedo Black Ink, and I've grabbed his matching little 2 sets of stripes and stinger. The great thing is this is a photopolymer set, so you can see right through it. I'm going to have to lean over you guys a little bit because I do prefer to look straight down on my stamp. And just hold it for a couple seconds there. Sorry about my head. There we go. There's your cute little stripes. Next, I'm gonna move this. There we go. Next, we're gonna add some eyes. So that set actually has multiple little eyes that you could choose from. Whatever you want, you're gonna grab the Memento Black, grab a little happy face, or a laughing face, or a smiling face, whatever works for you. And you might as well do your antennae while this is out as well. Okay? Now, of course, you can't have a little bee without some wings. So we're going to grab our Pool Party ink and the little wings and add those to his back. There we go. You guys might have to run around and grab a few stamps and inks here. That's no problem. I'm going to keep going, but you can always click that pause button. And then one other color that I did grab, because I'm using it on the front of the card, was this Petunia Pop. So if you want to have a flower that complements your card as well, right there, then you can stamp that and die cut it or fussy cut it out right now. So that's Petunia Pop, and then I use the Daffodil Delight for the center as well. Moving on, we're going to put this on the inside of our card so you have something fun to write on. And then we'll come back and do our sentiments later. That's not a big deal, because you might want something different than what I've chosen. But some sort of flat adhesive, seal, tape, glue, whatever your preference is. You're going to put that on the back and add this to the center of the card. Now this card base, we're going to get out of our way for a little bit. You have quite a bit of cutting and assembly work to do before we're ready for it. So just go ahead and set it to the side of your workstation. And we need to do a bunch of work getting these 5 panels ready. Okay, now the cardstock isn't that tricky. I could have actually given you measurements and you could have cut that separately, but it's this designer series paper trick that gives you one consecutive image across the card that is a little tricky. We're going to do it together, and once you understand it, I hope you'll be able to replicate this on your own. So you can pick any sort of pattern paper that you like, but we're trying to have a continuous image across the page, okay? So let's start with the thing that is easiest to recut if we absolutely need to. Let's do our cardstock first. So I have grabbed Petunia Pop for my cardstock, and I'm actually cutting a rectangle's worth of it. This does give you a little extra work to do the way that I'm showing you, but it will give you hopefully a very uniform project in the end. Okay, so this piece of Petunia Pop, we're going to have measuring 5 inches across the top, so it's the longest there, and then 4 1/8 along this direction here. So 5 by 4 1/8. You're going to grab your Stampin' Trimmer if you've got that handy, and we need to do some cutting. Now we need to make 5 panels for our project, okay? So we're going to cut the first one and I like the Stampin' Trimmer because it has the measurements here on the right and the left. So we're gonna do 7/8 of an inch. 7/8. Just start putting them down in order. So there's 1, 7/8. So this was from the right-hand side of the paper. Now, the fun thing with the cardstock is you can actually just do 4 sections of 7/8, and then we're going to have a little bit left. We are not going to be able to do that same thing with the designer paper. We'll have to cut this in a different manner, but let's keep going. So I've got 2 sets of 7/8. We're going to keep going and do 2 more. 1 and 2. So in essence, we've cut off our 4 7/8, and whatever's left is going to be our middle panel. This just so happens to be about 1.5 inches if you are curious, okay? But you're probably noticing a bit of a discrepancy. You're saying, well, Lauren, you've got 5 equal portions right now. How on earth are you going to get them to look like this? And this is where we need to do a little bit of trimming. Okay, so our middle panel will stay the same. You don't have to do anything to that. We need to trim off 1/2 inch from these 2. So I'm going to call this number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. We need to trim from number 2 and number 4 1/2 inch. You can do these together if you feel ambitious, or if you're a little ambivalent, then just go ahead and grab one of them, and we're going to just take 1/2 inch off of that. Half an inch. Okay, so that goes back into place. Now we can see, oh, we can't see, sorry. I'm trying to show you 2 things at once, but it's difficult. Okay, so you can see this one has come down a tiny bit in size. What we do to one side, you have to do the other. So we're also going to take 1/2 inch off its partner. So number 2 and number 4, we've taken 1/2 inch. Number 1 and number 5, we're going to take a whole inch, 1 whole inch off of this one, and 1 whole inch off of the other one. Okay, there you go. 1 and 2. There's our 5 panels. Those are the 5 pieces that you're going to need. Now, when I first taught this, I actually got everyone to cut their designer paper next, but I think I'm going to change it up a little bit and actually get you to mount these pieces now onto our card base, because then one at a time, as we cut the pieces of cardstock or of designer paper off, they'll be able to go right into position. Okay, so we're going to take a moment and bring our base back into play right here. I'm going to put dimensionals onto the back of all 5 of these pieces, but don't take the backings off of them. Okay, we're going to line them up, make sure the spacing is right and that we're happy with it. So if you need to, go ahead and like stick a block on this piece so it doesn't open up. But grab your dimensionals and let's get this ready. Okay, I'm just putting them all in place. I'm not taking any backings off. That one's very fun. If you don't want dimensionals at this stage, you also can just put them on flat. So I'm going to bring it down and just make sure that I've cut things properly. Yes, I can see only a slight amount of green on the top and the bottom. And then we're just going to move these 2 kind of in place so that you see a slight green border on either side of them. sticking to my nails right now. Oy. At the moment, we're just worrying about spacing to make sure all 5 of them fit. I think that should be happy enough at the moment. You can see I have a little bit more space on my right side at this time, so I can use that opportunity to just bring everything over a little bit. Don't need to take over all of the space, but just get comfortable. Make sure you've kind of given both sides an opportunity to have a bit of breathing room. And then when you're ready, you can start attaching. I think the middle piece is the easiest one to start with because it will be a very simple focal point for you to work off of. So we're going to put that right in the middle here, leaving just a bit of a border on the top and a little bit of a border on the bottom. Now that that is in place, it doesn't matter if the other 2 shift because we kind of relatively know where they're going. We know they're only getting a tiny little border and they're going to go right next to this with hopefully even spacing on the top and bottom. Okay, there's one. There's 2. Again, you don't have to be perfect, just try to leave an even amount of space on the top and bottom here. 2. Put this going in place, so sorry, I have to turn this just to get a nice border for myself. Once again, it's very subtle. 1 and 2. And the last one. This doesn't leave you a lot of wiggle room, but that's okay. Sometimes that might be easier because then you're not estimating larger gaps. Okay, so far so good. This is looking great. Now we're going to have the fun part of adding our designer papers. So I'm going to get this pre-prepped. I'm going to put down some tape so that when I have a piece cut, I can literally just put it right into the spot that it belongs. I'm going to sneeze. Oh, bless me. Sorry, I could feel it coming. So just remember a little bit of the purple is going to show through on all of the perimeters. So we don't want adhesive right up to the end of it. Just put adhesive in the middle of your space. And that's enough for your designer paper to sit on top of. Okay. I'm going to take this off again so it's, well, maybe I'll just leave this just so that I can show you guys what I'm doing. I'll take it off in a second here. I'm going to bring back my trimmer. I do apologize, it's hard for me to keep the visual in the screen for you, but we're going to cut our designer series paper right now. So I've picked 3 different patterns. They are all going to look great. They all came from the same package of paper, the Cute as a Bee, but they all just kind of look slightly different. So I decided to go with these little bees holding the hearts this time. And this piece, we're going to measure 4 inches on the side, and then it needs to be 4 3/8 across the top. So especially with these like panoramic panels, you need to just confirm 4 inches up and down, 4 3/8 across the top. And now we cut. This is where it can get scary sometimes. So I'm going to start at the right hand side and I'm going to cut off 3/4 of an inch. Okay, so 1 cut. This is 3/4 of an inch. And just like we did with the purples, we're going to keep them in order, but we actually have our template in front of us. So don't glue it. If you've taken the adhesive off, don't put this on top right now. Just keep them in place. Okay, so put that on section 1. We're going to cut off another 3/4. 3/4. Don't attach these. Just set them in place. Now, because we want our scene from this left side to actually be on the left of this, you need to rotate this piece up all the way around, and we're going to cut off panel 1 and panel 2. 3/4 and cut. So that becomes panel 1. 3/4. Becomes panel 2. Okay, you will need to do some more cutting, but I'm once again going to move this just to show you my image is continuous at this point. Okay, I've kept all my bees close to their buddies, just disproportionately, unfortunately. So we have to do some more trimming to get those pieces the right size. Okay, this is number 3. This is panel 3. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Number 3 is good to go. You can take off the adhesive and you can put him right in his spot. He should have the tiniest of purple perimeters. And then he is good to go. Now, if you have a pencil or pen at this moment, my suggestion would be just to subtly flip these over, write a number 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. This is just the easiest way to keep track of them in case you accidentally, take them out of order. You're not going to sit here and have to puzzle them together. These bees are pretty easy. They wouldn't be difficult. But when you get to like these tiny little bees, for instance, it might take you a few more minutes to get that put into the right order again, if it moved, okay? So we're gonna just leave our bees here. I'm gonna move this out of my way and try to keep everything on its spot as much as possible, okay? So, panel number 3, we kept it full size. We didn't have to cut anything. Remember our panel 2 and 4, where we had to cut 1/2 inch off of that? It's not as simple with the designer series paper, and this is what I learned from Lorraine. You can't just cut a whole 1/2 inch from panel 2, let's say, because then your bees are going to end up like lopsided. It's going to look like they're zigzagging all the way down your paper. So instead of taking 1/2 inch off of one of the 2 sides, we'll split that difference and take 1/4 inch off the top and 1/4 inch off the bottom. And I know this is a lot of cutting, but it's worth it. It looks so cute. Okay, so I have panel 2 at the moment. It's the one to the left of the center. Panel number 2. We're going to take 1/4 inch off the top, turn it around, and do 1/4 inch off the bottom. Okay, there's panel 2. Confirm that they fit. Yes. Then go ahead and attach it, because this is going to prevent it from running away from you. If you don't want to attach it now, it's okay. We've written the number on the back. You'll be able to do that later. Oh, you went on a little crooked. There's panel 2. What we've done to panel 2, we have to do to panel 4, because they are the matching pairs. So we're going to take 1/2 inch, don't do anything, 1/4 inch off the top and 1/4 inch off the bottom. 1/4 inch off the top, check. 1/4 inch off the bottom, check. Can put this one in place so it doesn't fly away. And now we're ready to do panels 1 and 5. So thinking back to when we cut our cardstock, we ended up taking a whole inch off of these pieces. So let's just take a moment and guess, what do we need to take off the top and the bottom of these pieces to equal an inch? This is where I should be teaching my kiddo right now, bring him up. So 1 inch divided by 2, we're gonna take 1/2 an inch off of the top, 1/2 an inch off the bottom. One half, check, turn it around, 1/2, check. There is our cute little bees. Just double check, yes, that fits. Put him on. There's panel number 1. And last but not least, we need panel 5. We are once again taking 1/2 an inch off the top and 1/2 an inch off the bottom. Oh, that one went flying. 1 and 2. 1/2 an inch off of both of those. And put you in place. Beautiful. Now this is adorable just like it is, but I thought, hey, might as well add a sentiment. So I just decided to cut myself a rectangular strip of white because there's a really cute verse in that set that just says, "Love this life." And I figured this could either be a Valentine's Day card if people had wanted it to be, or it could just be an encouragement card and like a caring for you card. So whatever this is for anybody, and depending on which bee paper they got, I'm going to do Love This Life in Memento Black. So my piece of white is going to be 3/4 of an inch by, I want to say 3 inches. Maybe I should grab a ruler. It's just kind of a scrap. 1, 2, white, 3.5, sorry. But it's up to you. You can put whatever sentiment you want. You saw on the painted lavender one, my sentiment was completely different. I did a white rectangle and a shadowed rectangle in a different color. So here's where you get to get creative. You could make yourself another bee and put it on the front. But I'm just cutting that piece and I'm going to bring it back down and pop it up on dimensionals for my card front. 1, 2, 3. I wanted the flower because I thought it was missing something when I just had my sentiment. So you're actually going to line your sentiment up kind of onto panel number 2 is where it kind of rests so that you have room for a flower here. And that flower, we're going to just put a dimensional beside my sentiment. Take the backing off, and then you can add this right here. Love this life. There you go. See, it's so fun, and I figured this paper really does not have to be February Valentine's specific. It can be very fun and exciting, and if you're thinking, nope, don't like these at all, they scare me, use something else. Grab something else that you have. There we go. But I'd love to hear which one is your favorite, whether you're like a bee person or the butterfly. Comment below and tell me which set your preference is. Thank you guys so much for joining me this week. I do post a new video every Tuesday at noon, so I would love for you to check out the past history of them. There's over 200. And, if there's a video that is 4 years old, because I think I started these 4 years ago, you might just have to modify it. You might have to use the fold and grab something from your stash, but I really do encourage you to play along and just have fun with these cards. Make them your own. And if you ever decide, hey, I'd like to share with you what I've been making, my Facebook page, Lauren Scraplot, you can send me a message. You can post your cards on there because I know lots of people would love to see them too. So happy crafting, my friends, and I will see you next week. Bye.